Hi, students. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. You all remember that I brought a video about Latinos yesterday, and this woman also went on a very long video talking about how Latinos, how they play themselves during the election. And now they are looking for people to probably say them, including Arab Americans and all that. Sincerely speaking, they know that they play themselves, not black people. So she was also talking about how they are also causing much problems for black people, how civil rights and black people have always fought for everybody and also fought for them. And she also mentioned about how they've been taking away jobs from black people, right? And when they take away jobs from black people, they and when they take away jobs from black people and charge lesser and then turn around to say black people are lazy. This is not the first time I'm not even it's not new. I have brought so much videos about that, right? It is amazing how you people thought that it's a cozy world, like you all are going to win, because I do not know how you expect to win when somebody already told you that he is going to deport you on his first day of when he resumes office, and you all still went ahead, your families went ahead to still vote for him. Now you all are looking for someone to save you. There is nobody saving you, because Chicago already has started they have started catching people. So if I know now, if everything around you will absolutely look like ice, and trust me, you are going to keep running. You know what? Let's get into.
Let's talk about how the left's policies on immigration are inherently American exceptionalists. They're harmful, they're misogynistic, and they're hypocritical. All right, they're constantly contradicting their own values. Because I made a video where I talked about how Latinos voted for Trump to humble women, and of course, I'm getting the leftist comments of I'm racist and I'm anti-immigration because I said that we need to have higher standards for immigration. We need to make sure that people are educated about the rights that they're gaining here so that they don't work against us. Like what has happened in this country already, where it's flipped red, which I saw coming years ago. I knew it was going to happen the more they allowed people from male-centered countries to come here. Because those people arrive here and they're pissed to see women in empowered positions, to have to answer to women, especially to black women in their jobs. And so they wanted to humble us. They wanted to put us in our place. It's happened. The worst has happened. And the left still doesn't get it. Because you have this savior complex and you have empathy that lacks boundaries. Empathy without boundaries hurts everyone. So let's get into it. The left says, well, I don't care. We should open all the borders, let everyone in here. Immigrants commit less crimes because they don't want to get kicked out. Immigrants are upholding the economy. Immigrants only come here for a better life. Okay, you're anti-capitalist, but immigrants are upholding the economy and you want them to continue to do that. Which one is it? Are you anti-capitalist or do you want this economy to continue? And a better life for who? Because Latinos, first-gen Latinos, have the worst rates of depression of anyone in the country, of any other group. And Latinas get paid less than anyone else. So a better life for who? Is it a better life for you because you get a cheaper nanny? Is it a better life for you because your products are cheaper, because the labor's cheaper? Is it a better life for you because you could hire cheaper workers for your businesses and you don't have to pay them benefits and you don't have to put them on the books? Is that why? A better life for who? Oh, they commit less crimes than everyone else, blah, 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 blah. This, that, and the other. Male-centered immigrants never tell on the people in their families that commit crimes. I'm the kind of person that people tell their darkest secrets to, and I can tell you, and we know this is an open secret, that there are assaulters tearing through these families. Latino families, we know this. And no one ever tells on them. And if you're the victim and you try to do anything about it, you're the bad guy. If you're gay, you're worse than one of these people. Those people get treated like kings. They get protected. They never have to face any consequences. They're never looked down on. They're never turned against. Look at the story that happened after Roe v. Wade. I think it was in Texas, where this 10-year-old girl was assaulted by her mother's boyfriend. The boyfriend admitted to it. And when the news channel went to go interview the mother, she was saying, that's not true, that didn't happen. Do you know how many stories I know like that? And there are a lot of Latina women that are like that because they've been through it and they don't care if it happens to you. They want it to happen to you sometimes because they feel like if they had to suffer, then you have to suffer too. And then when it comes to the whole jobs thing, okay, let's talk about when I first got on this app. One of the first videos I saw was a 15-year-old white girl from Appalachia. And it really resonated with me because it reminded me so much of what I've seen in the Dominican Republic, the town that my family comes from, because I've come to realize that a lot of Dominicans, at least from where I come from, are essentially the Dominican equivalent of American Southerners here in the United States. They live in the same kind of conditions, they have similar values, and they even have similar music. We have bachata, they have country music. That's our version of country music. So it really resonated with me when she was explaining what it was like where she was. She said they don't really have internet. She has to drive out to get internet. She said that they only have a small shop in their town. They don't have anything like Whole Foods. She's 15 years old and she's going to school in one room in a schoolhouse with kids from age 5 through high school in the year 2021. Guess what? I would be fucking pissed as hell if my family had been in this country for generations and I'm watching people come from another place and get ahead faster than I do. And then we send all of our profitable jobs that don't require a degree overseas. All of these people in other countries have all these manufacturing jobs. And then we're also having people coming over here and taking all of the lowest paying jobs and taking less money than an American would for it. We're not taking care of our own people. Leftist whole ideology when it comes to immigration is like parents who are broke and keep having kids and expecting the older kids to take care of them. It's ridiculous. It's harmful. It's unacceptable. And it's hypocritical and arrogant to say that we have to help everyone when we don't even have our own house in order. When these people would live better in their countries, if our countries would just get the hell out of there and stop taking their resources. Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about the fact that the United States destabilizes these countries to take their resources? Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about what happened in Puerto Rico? How the U.S. put them into debt. And then when the hurricane happened, didn't help them. They had to run over here to move to places where people are probably discriminating against them. And then the United States turned that into a tax haven so that Americans could go over there and not have to pay taxes. Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about the fact that Latin American countries, despite having poverty and corruption, have higher rates of happiness and satisfaction and health, and they use less drugs than Americans do? Why don't we talk about that? If you're so anti-capitalist. Something has to change. Something has got to change. What we have done is also a betrayal against African Americans because they're the reasons that we've been allowed to come here. They're the reason we were allowed to come here. They fought for civil rights for everyone, and it screwed them over. Because after they fought for civil rights, all of a sudden, they started getting hit back to back to back. Their successful towns were being burned down during Jim Crow. All of a sudden, the goalposts for education moved. The factory jobs that were helping them get out of poverty were moved overseas. They started facing a bunch of adversity for fighting for everyone. And what did immigrants do? Turn their backs on them, look down on them, said, I'm good, I'm here, I don't care about you. And you still want to have an open door policy? You still want to let people in here where we're not even taking care of our own? We're not taking care of our poor whites? Oh, they vote that way. They vote against their own interests. Have they ever had a chance to be educated enough not to do that? Have we made an effort to go into those towns and do our best to make sure that they know what's going on and that they're taken care of and that they have the peace of mind and the funds to be calm enough to even think about what's going on in this country? Because when you're in a state of desperation, when you're in a constant state of survival, you don't have time to read and to break things down and to figure out complex things like this, complex ideas, and to make these connections. Your boundless empathy is constantly manipulated by the right. The right is not anti-immigration. The right loves immigration because they get cheap labor off of it. And now they know that they can use these people to vote for them because these people are very male-centered, right? They know that Americans are not going to support the right anymore. They know that they can't win without these people. They know they can't win without male-centered people. So they allow them in here. They allow them to vote. They allow them to get citizenship. And then they malign them, right? They turn them into the enemy while they're using them for their gain. And now that they finally got what they wanted, full power, what are they doing? Kicking them out. And you help them do this. You help them do this. I honestly sometimes look at leftists, especially when I saw what leftists in New York have done, and I ask myself, were these people planted to sabotage everything? Because they can't see that they're being played. They can't see that their empathy is being used against them. It's so obvious to me. How don't you see it? Because you believe that everyone is inherently good. You believe because you have an arrogance to you that you don't realize you have. Because you're looking down on people, that all of these people are just harmless and they just need our help and we have to help them. You don't think that poor people can be bad. You don't think that immigrants can be bad. You think that everyone is inherently good. And I hate to break it to you, but as someone who came from poverty, who was literally born in hell, there are a lot of people at the bottom that are just as evil as the people at the top. There are people that are born with smaller amygdalas. They literally lack the ability for empathy. And there's a crabs in a bucket mentality that has people, a lot of these people that were being interviewed in New York, a lot of these formerly undocumented people that got citizenship and then started voting against, started voting red, they were smirking. They loved what they did. I saw articles where Latinas were saying that they voted to punish women. Latino men voted to punish women. They were enjoying it. They loved it. And you allowed that to happen because you have a savior complex, because your empathy lacks boundaries, because you need to feel good about yourself. And so you don't think. You think that the people on the right are dumb. You think that the people on the right don't know what they're doing. But they played you like a fiddle and they got everything they wanted. You're the problem. A couple of points that I forgot to mention in the previous video about the leftist ideology when it comes to immigration. So there are two things in particular that really bother me about the way that leftists approach immigration. First of all, none of you had anything to say when DeSantis made whatever that ruling was in Florida that led a lot of immigrants to leave, a lot of undocumented immigrants to leave, right? Remember when that happened? And then all of a sudden, all the news channels were talking about how suddenly the income for women who were like housekeepers, women who were maintaining the estates of wealthy people shot up to 6 figures and they were getting benefits all of a sudden, right? Because now they weren't competing with undocumented immigrants that were willing to take pennies for the same job. And that's not to say that immigrants are taking jobs from everyone, because we know that Americans don't want to do farming jobs. We know that there are construction jobs and things that Americans likely won't do, okay? But at the end of the day, there are jobs that are being affected by the fact that we have people in here that are willing to take a lot less for it. And personally, I've seen this myself. I know there was like a whole trend joking about how like, you know, because the right said that immigrants are taking black people's jobs. That isn't true for the most part, right? But I'm sorry, I've seen it happen. I've seen a black woman lose a cleaning job because a Latina that is here undocumented was willing to take half. And that Latina, by the way, what I was saying in the previous video about the depression that Latinos have here, that Latina is extremely depressed. She's involved with some white man who's treating her like dog crap, and her kids are overseas. So she's getting paid a lot less. She's pretty much imprisoned to a loser that maybe most American women would never date. She can't see her kids. And because she's willing to take less because she's so desperate, an African-American woman who's a single mother lost a job. So we have to start being more honest with ourselves about that. The other issue is, and why I say that leftists are very misogynistic, is because why don't you care about the issues that are afflicting Americans, right? One of the main problems with immigration in this country is that we have child marriage here. We have child marriage and we haven't done anything about it. We have states where children, there's no age limit to child marriage, or where children as young as 12 could get married. And we've had something like 300,000 to 500,000, I forget the number, 300,000 to 500,000 child marriages in the United States since like 2005. Look up the organization that Chelsea Clinton, that she's behind, because she talks about this. But leftists don't pick that up, right? Because you don't actually care about women. And who exploits the child marriage laws in this country? Immigrants that come from male-centered countries. A lot of them are from like Arab countries, Indian countries. And they get parents that are here with daughters. Those daughters are forced to marry those men so those men can get citizenship. And then those men move over here, they abuse those girls, and those girls are not allowed to file for divorce because children are not allowed to file for divorce. So they're literally prisoners to these men. But leftists don't talk about that, right? You don't talk about the side effects of all of this immigration, the side effects of you being so empathetic that you just let everyone in here before you even make sure that we're okay in this country. And that's also the reason why, let's be honest, that's also the reason why the right was able to use Palestine against you. You guys took that Palestine issue and you ran with it without thinking about what you were doing, without realizing that it was working against you. You got played hard. The whole Palestine conversation is not a brand new conversation. You guys acted like you were the first ones to figure it out. I live in New York City. This is a city with a lot of Jewish people. This is a city where Hasidic people have been protesting that whole situation for decades. Almost every year, I think they would do a whole protest about that. I know a lot of Jewish people. We have conversations about this. The majority of the Jewish people that I know are not for what's going on over there. All right. But you guys, with your misogyny, came on here. You didn't realize that there were a lot of bots involved in this conversation too. You harassed the crap out of women influencers because you didn't do it to men until they shut down their accounts because they weren't speaking up about this topic, because they weren't willing to risk their livelihood over this topic. It was insane. It was insane what you were doing. People lost their jobs. People got kicked out of school. People were, again, you guys bullied the hell out of a lot of influencers on here, specifically women, because you have this envy for women. This is the other thing that I noticed. All these conversations about women influencers being like the harbingers of capitalism and all this crap. You never do it to men. You see these women that, you know, we come from a generation that has been disenfranchised, that almost everyone is struggling. People don't have access to buying houses. People are indebted. And then a woman gets on here selling makeup, whatever it is that she's doing, makes a bunch of money, gains success, and suddenly she's evil and she's fair game. You know how many videos I saw on here with women saying that they would watch content from these creators, but they refused to click on their links because they didn't want them to make money, and they were laughing in the comments? A lot of y'all are nasty. You're nasty. So you use the whole Palestine thing to attack women, and then ultimately what happened, right? Then this woman, what's her name? Talib, Rashida, whatever her name is, from Michigan. That woman should not be in office. She needs to get kicked out. She is a traitor. She convinced everyone not to vote for Kamala, and she acted like it was about Palestine. Meanwhile, Trump was the one who recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. No other president, Republican or Democrat, had been willing to do that. And Trump was the one who enacted a Muslim ban that Democrats stopped. So what made them think that if Trump won, that he was going to change anything, that he was going to help? Do you guys know that Arabs, Muslims, they voted red until 9/11? The only reason they vote blue is because of 9/11. That was the only reason. And then the second that their option became a black woman, they said, oh, hell no, I'm not going to do that. Why don't you guys ever talk about how Arab and Muslim countries have a problem with enslaving black women? Why don't you talk about how when the whole Palestine thing happened and they went into Lebanon, all of those Lebanese Arabs that had all of those black women that they pretty much enslave, and they take their documents, they take their passports, they abandoned them there. They didn't give them their papers so that they could leave. They abandoned them there. But no one wanted to talk about that, right? And if you think I'm being racist, if you think I'm being, anti-Muslim, I want you to ask yourself a question. Do you think that they would have voted the same way if it had been Arab Muslim men's reproductive rights that had been at risk? Absolutely not. You got played because you're dumb, because you don't understand Machiavellian personalities, because you don't understand manipulators, because you don't understand antisocial personalities. That's why I always laugh when you guys talk about communism, because I'm like, that movement will get co-opted in 2 seconds by a psychopath. Because you don't have the sophistication, you don't have the understanding, the knowledge, you don't have the intuition, and you definitely don't have the balls to do anything about someone evil taking over a whole movement like that, a communist government. You guys are naive. You guys get played all the time by the right. I never talked about this stuff before because I knew that no one would be able to receive this until it actually happened. And it was killing me. It was killing me not to talk about this stuff for years. It was killing me to see all this stuff. And it was clear as day before my eyes. And I knew because my entire life I've been telling people, yo, be careful, be careful. That person is evil. That thing is a problem. This person is playing you. They're manipulating. And everyone would tell me that I was exaggerating. That I was getting gaslit left and right by everyone for years. And so I'm like, I can't get on the internet and talk about this. I was going through a whole process of healing PTSD. I did not have the emotional regulation necessary to deal with the pushback that I would receive. So I never talked about it. I had to wait for things to go to hell, for me to finally start saying what I've been seeing for years. The left needs to humble themselves. The left needs to deal with their people-pleasing tendencies, with their savior complex, with their martyrdom. The left needs to understand that you guys are not the smartest people in the room. And you need to take a step back and let other voices come to the forefront. People who are more reasonable and who are more sophisticated and who understand human behavior and who have empathy, but also have boundaries, because you're not it. We got this. Everything that we have right now, this whole problem, is partially your fault.
We have some major breaking news. Trump's incoming administration is planning on starting mass deportations immediately after he takes office, and they're planning a huge operation in Chicago. And just wait, this story gets even worse. According to some new reporting from the Wall Street Journal, the incoming Trump administration is planning a large-scale immigration raid in Chicago next week, according to 4 people familiar with the planning. The raid is expected to begin on Tuesday morning, a day after Trump is inaugurated, and will last all week. The People said U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will send between 100 and 200 officers to carry out the operation. They're trying to go after people with criminal backgrounds, many of whose offenses, like driving violations, made them too minor for the Biden administration to pursue. But they did stress that if anybody is at this operation who's just in the country undocumented, they'll be taken too. They'd been contemplating cities to target in a day one operation as a way of making an example. So this is insane. I mean, look, I've always said that if somebody's committed a serious crime in the country, I have no problem with them being deported. But undoubtedly, this operation is going to target people who have been in the country undocumented for a long time, but they have families now. They have kids here who are American citizens. They're working a job. Their kid goes to school. Maybe they're the coach of the soccer team at their local school. These folks just want a better life, and they're trying to do that. But now they're going to get removed because Donald Trump doesn't like them. As I said, go after the criminals. I don't care. But these folks who are here just working jobs, it's insane. Also, if TikTok gets banned, my Instagram, my YouTube, my Substack are all linked in my bio and more, as well as a petition I need you to sign to try to stop the ban of TikTok. It'd mean a lot if you could add your name.
We have some major breaking news right now. Donald Trump and his team are expected to begin mass deportations, with raids beginning in the city of Chicago starting on Tuesday of this week, on January 21st. This is the first wave of mass deportations, according to latest reporting from the Wall Street Journal. And if you don't follow me yet on Instagram, Substack, or YouTube, that's where I'll be if TikTok is ever banned. All of them are linked in my bio. Now, afterwards, the Trump administration is expected to look at other cities like Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago, well, other than Chicago. And these raids are expected to last potentially the entire week next week. So the mass deportation plan, which is going to be led by Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, and others, is literally starting on practically day 2 of the Trump administration. If you live in Chicago, please be aware of this. If you know people living in Chicago, please send this to them so that they're aware of this, because it is coming and there's really nothing they can do to stop it right now. So I'm making this video for awareness. Also, know your rights, obviously. The ACLU has done a great job outlining the rights of folks in these types of situations. As soon as we get more information, I will obviously provide it to you, so be sure to follow along to be the first to know. A lot more to come soon.
Okay, so apparently we're back. I don't know for how long. Definitely given the fry squint. But anyway, we're back, right? We're not going to ignore the fact that we were informed that mass deportation and ICE raids are starting on Tuesday here in Chicago. We're not going to ignore the fact that that man said he was going to declare a national emergency at our southern border tomorrow, right after his inauguration. We're not going to ignore the fact that he was the reason why this app got banned or is getting banned in the first place. Like, I really hope that y'all remember 2016 to 2020. I really hope y'all remember that. Don't let this last 16 hours break y'all brains. Y'all got to have long memories, especially in the American political climate. And also, all of y'all non-Americans that was on here talking smack while we was gone for half a day. If you don't delete those videos now, baby, the internet is forever. Welcome back.
So Aaron has announced that they have updated the list for mass deportations. Now, I'm going to tag Aaron so that way y'all can go follow him and make sure y'all keep up to date. But here's what I want to say. If you are a first generation American, or you have immigrant parents, grandparents, or any immigrant friends or family members, you want to make sure that they are aware of this information, because we don't know what the ramifications of this are actually going to be. We don't know if they're going to end up in ICE and or how long they are going to be there. The other thing to keep in mind is that you could possibly end up in a situation where you are in the United States legally, but you don't have proof on you. And I know that this feels like we are back living in the 1950s, but it's something that we just have to think about and we have to consider. And regardless of where you stand in the immigration debate, because we do have to remember that it's not only Republicans who have sentiments about immigration and our immigration laws here in the US, but we also should have compassion, because at the end of the day, these are still humans and they should not be treated like fucking cattle.
So it's about to start, that being mass deportations. The vast, number of people here without papers are not white. And Tom Homan, Trump's new deportation czar, just announced that they were going to hold off on immigration raids in Chicago. A couple days ago, there was some news about on the second day of Trump's term, that would be January 21st, 2 days from now, they were going to have these mass raids in Chicago. I'm thinking workplaces, but it really doesn't matter. Because the important thing, as these deportations happen, and as you see families ripped apart, and thousands of people thrown in detention in horrible, horrible conditions, remember that it is based on a lie, on a myth. What Trump and Homan are saying is that people here without papers are more likely to commit serious crimes. That's simply not true. There's no data to support that. None. In fact, especially Latino people, they are less likely to commit crimes than Americans. And so, the argument that we need to deport all these people because of their propensity to commit crimes is not true. It's simply a lie. And when you think about how rabid Trump and Homan are, and Stephen Miller, Trump's sort of immigration guy, it can only be based in racism, right? It's not like they're deporting a bunch of white people. And, I saw in the New York Times, it's got large support across the country. That's because people think that it's to lower the crime rate, which, by the way, is already lower than it's been in, 10, 15 years. So Trump's and Homan's racist policy of deportations is based on a lie.
I think a lot of food vendors are going to get affected, because a lot of people that are food vendors are undocumented, and I have papers, but my family is undocumented.
There are also concerns about whether some parents might keep their children home from school when classes resume next Wednesday.
If you are undocumented in the city of Chicago or surrounding areas, please watch this video, or if you know someone who is, please send this to them. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Donald Trump is planning to launch a mass deportation raid on Tuesday, January 21st, the day after his inauguration. This operation, involving up to 200 ICE officers, will target undocumented immigrants, including those with minor criminal records. It is expected to last for a week, and that there will be collateral arrests, which is when others are detained for simply being there. That's even if they have no criminal record. Chicago was
excuse me. This is all I got from this video. And you all already know that right from the onset, this deportation of a thing is something that would be screaming. Black people, almost especially, have been screaming it, right? Now, I am going to say this, I do not have any emotions, especially when it comes to this deportation. Why am I saying this? It's not because I am not human or because I do not care. I absolutely care about everybody. But the last election showed that some people also do not care about the other people, right? Now, the reality is that this deportation of a thing was something that he did not hide. So for anybody that will come and scream Trump this, Trump that, I am not a Trump fan, right? But you see this particular one, let me tell us something. If you are, right from the onset, this man has been screaming that the first thing he's going to do when he gets into the office is to do mass deportation, right? He did not hide his feelings about this particular one, this policy. This policy was very clear. Right? Follow me. Black people tried as hard or as much as they could to pass the message across to everybody, including Latinos and the Muslims, Americans, like the Middle Easterners. They also tried as much as they could to pass the message across and to every other person that needed to hear it. And they did not stop spreading the news. They did not stop spreading the message till the last day of the election, because I can remember how hard most Black content creators fought to make sure that they got people to understand why they should vote for this person and why they shouldn't vote for the other person. I don't know why I'm having goosebumps, right? Now, after the whole thing, the election came. And you all, the same you people that they told that they would deport you, you all still went ahead to vote for the person that said he was going to deport you. Now, am I supposed to feel sorry for you? Or am I supposed to start crying? Or am I supposed to start carrying placards around to probably do justice for Latinos? No, of course, I cannot do that. I cannot, right? So what am I saying in essence? You see that first woman that spoke, she is nothing but truth. A very big shout out to her. She made it clear that you people, she is also Latina, but she is, you can see at first I thought she's a Black woman, but I think she identified as also a Black woman, but whichever one, I don't want to go there. You heard all she said, that you people are so willing and ready to take away job from a Black person. And this is not idea of job, but I am perfect. It's what she said that I am also saying, right? And then you all are going to turn around and say that Black people are lazy. Why? Because she took away job from a Black woman or a Black man and collect less salary. and then push the black person out of job. Probably the black person starts looking for another job, probably asking for a better pay, and you all will still call the person lazy. See, a lot has happened, and that is not why I am here. I am not here to start counting what you did and what you did not do. But you all played yourselves, right? You did not play black people, you played yourselves, because the result of what you played is about to show. And like the man said that he was going to do this, he did not lie, and he is about to fulfill his promises. Now he said on the first day, the day he's resuming office, the mass deportation is being effective. And as I speak to you, deportation, like I already started catching them in Chicago, if I am not Chicago, and also in Los Angeles, LA, right? Los Angeles. Also, during the fire crisis, wildfire, they were also catching them, right? That tells you a lot. And some of you are going to still stand out and say you do not have any regrets over voting. You have regrets, because if you do not have regrets, you won't be running up and down looking for how to sort yourself out or how to calm the situation. You failed yourself, your families failed you, because I also have seen people without papers. When you ask them, do you have any regrets that Trump is the president? They say you don't have any regrets, but you are running up and down looking for a way to save the situation. Like I said, you all are going to really run so hard this period, because this is a season of running. You can only run, run, run. You will keep running, because everything will look like ice to you. Everything. If you look left, ice. If you look right, ice. So for how long do you want to keep running? Now, let me tell you people something. If you all remember what happened last 2 years, this is 2025, 2023. When Ron DeSantis said that he was going to send you people home, and how many thousands of people in Florida left? You all did not remember that. That is to tell you how, should I say, unintelligent some people are. I am not Latino. I am a black Nigerian. I am an African woman. But I still remember what happened in Florida, how every one of you ran away, because he said he was looking for a way to, deport you people. So to tell you how shallow-minded you all are, you all still woke up and voted for this one, and you think somebody will save you. I know one's saving you. Shout out to every black person watching me. You know I love you. I am saying loves you. I love you with all my heart. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.